This is WRTV 6, Indianapolis.
WRTV Channel 6, Indianapolis.
The news with Howard Caldwell, Clyde Lee, field anchor Ken Nelson, Craig Roberts Sports, and Bob McLean Weather. The news tonight with Howard Caldwell, Clyde Lee, Chris Allen Sports, and meteorologist Bob McLean.
Good evening to you.
Stay tuned for the #1 newscast in Indiana on WRTV, Indianapolis. Live from the news leader, Howard Caldwell, Clyde Lee, Ken Double Sports, and meteorologist Bob McLean.
Good evening to you.
You're watching the #1 newscast in the state on WRTV. The news tonight with Howard Caldwell and Clyde Lee. Sports with Ken Double and weather with meteorologist Bob McLean.
Good evening, everyone. A prime suspect in the...
Live from WRTV, Indianapolis, your exclusive news star station, the Channel 6 News with Jack Reinhardt and Barbara Boyd.
Good afternoon, everyone.
From WRTV Indianapolis, Indiana's #1 newscast, the Channel 6 News with Howard Caldwell, Clyde Lee, Tracy Horth, field anchor Gary Dick, meteorologist Bob McLean, and Ed Sorensen Sports.
Good afternoon, everyone.
It's 6:25, and here's Channel 6 News with Ben Morriston.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, July 7th. Look for hot and steamy weather today and a high near 90.
Live from WRTV Indianapolis, your exclusive news star station, Howard Caldwell, Clyde Lee, meteorologist Bob McLean, and Ed Sorensen Sports. This is Channel 6 News.
Good evening to you. I'm Clyde Lee.
And I'm Howard Caldwell, and here's what's happening tonight.
Live from WRTV, Indianapolis, your exclusive news star station. Greg Todd, meteorologist David James, and Kevin Madden Sports. This is Channel 6 News.
Good evening, Indiana.
WRTV 6 Indianapolis. This is Channel 6 News at 5 with Howard Caldwell, Barbara Lewis, weather with meteorologist Bob McLean, and sports with Ed Sorensen. Now, live, WRTV Channel 6 News at 5.
This is his last day as President of the United States, Ronald Reagan. He won the election in 1980, and now, after 8 successful years, he's saying goodbye. Good evening, Indiana.
WRTV 6 Indianapolis. This is Channel 6 News at 6 with Clyde Lee, Dion Willis, weather with meteorologist Bob McLean, and sports with Ed Sorensen. Now, live, WRTV Channel 6 News at 6.
Good evening to you. Dion is off tonight.
WRTV 6 Indianapolis. This is Channel 6 News at 6 with Greg Todd, Angela Kane, weather with meteorologist David James, and sports with Brian Hammonds. Now, live, WRTV Channel 6 News at 6.
Good evening, Indiana.
WRTV 6 Indianapolis. This is Channel 6 News at 11 with Clyde Lee, Dion Willis, weather with meteorologist Bob McLean, and sports with Ed Sorensen. Now, live, WRTV Channel 6 News at 11.
Good evening to you.
WRTV 6 Indianapolis, making a difference for Indiana. This is WRTV 6 News at 11 with Clyde Lee, Dion Willis, Ed Sorensen on sports, and meteorologist Bob McLean with weather. Now, live, WRTV 6 News at 11.
Good evening to you. Dion is off tonight.
WRTV 6 Indianapolis, making a difference for Indiana. This is WRTV 6 News with Greg Todd, Angela Kane, Scott Hoke on sports, and meteorologist David James with weather. Now, live, WRTV 6 News.
Good evening, Indiana.
You're watching WRTV 6 Indianapolis, making a difference for Indiana. This is WRTV 6 News at 6. With Clyde Lee, Dion Willis, weather with meteorologist Bob McLean, and Ed Sorensen on sports. Now, live, WRTV 6 News at 6. Making a difference for Indiana. This is WRTV 6 News at 11. With Clyde Lee, Dion Willis, weather with meteorologist Bob McLean, and Ed Sorensen on sports.
I don't think I'll ever get that again.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome live to our final race broadcast of the day, our race wrap-up show. Ed Sorensen joined live in studio by Ari Lyondike. And
coverage making a difference for Indiana. Now, WRTV 6 News.
Bad traffic accident on the south side this afternoon. We'll have more on that.
6 News continues with Clyde Lee, Dion Willis, and Storm Team 6 meteorologist Bob McLean.
it's an issue some parents would rather not talk about.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WRTV 6 News.
A hospital's mission is to...
Live, local, late breaking. This is WRTV 6 News.
You look for clean areas, you look for areas that you had the most destruction.
From Indiana's fastest growing news source, this is live, local, late breaking 6 News.
Well, you've read the report, and now you might soon be able to view the president's video.
From RTV6 Indianapolis, standing up for you. This is 6 News at 5. 6 Indianapolis. This is 6 News at 5.
Serious questions are raised about the spending practices of a high-profile police officer. The police department picks up the investigation after the prosecutor is told to, quote, butt out. Good afternoon. Clyde has the day off.
Live from RTV6 Indianapolis, this is 6 News at 6.
Did IU coach Bob Knight choke Neil Reed in practice? Now
Live from RTV6 Indianapolis, standing up for you. This is 6 News at 11.
A holiday house fire sent...
Live from RTV6 Indianapolis, standing up for you. This is 6 News Weekend.
And we consider that site the total heart of our neighborhood.
But that site will soon get a major makeover.
We have been so occupied, I haven't even thought about the basket. We have a will, and we're going to find Karen.
Also, an Indianapolis family raises the stakes in hopes of finding a missing mother of two. We have two big stories for you tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Christy Tedesco.
I'm Eric Weisfeld.
6 News continues with Kevin Doran, Martha Weaver, Storm Team 6's Bob McLean, and Kevin Gregory, and Ed Sorensen, Sports.
Hi, Tech.
From RTV6 Indianapolis, this is Indiana Business This Week. From RTV6, the news at 5.
It may officially be spring, but winter apparently not ready to let go just yet.
You're watching RTV6 Indianapolis. Now, the morning news.
It's Thursday, September 11th.
The morning news continues with Grace Trahan, Eric Weisfeld, Julie Pursley, meteorologist Paul Petit, and Tom Berg, Metro Traffic. You're watching RTV6 Indianapolis. Now, the news at 6.
And we begin at 6 with a hint of encouragement from...
The news at 6 continues with Ray Cortopassi, Martha Weaver, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory, and Dave First, Sports.
The fugitive wanted for stalking an Indianapolis woman.
You're watching RTV6 Indianapolis. Now, the RTV6 Nightcast.
A devastating day in the Iraqi capital. At least 7 U.S. soldiers have been killed in fighting with armed militiamen. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Will Hampton.
And I'm Erica Fly.
You're watching RTV6 Indianapolis. Now, good morning, Indiana.
And we have to start this morning with a live, beautiful look at the skyline. It will not feel like fall this morning.
You're watching RTV6 Indianapolis. Now, the morning news.
We love them and that they're welcome in Houston, and let them know.
You're watching RTV6 Indianapolis. Now, the midday news.
2 people are dead this midday.
You're watching RTV6 Indianapolis. Now, the news at 6. You're watching RTV6 Indianapolis. Now, the RTV6 Nightcast.
Good evening. We'll have more on the Colts' close win in just a moment, but first, our big story. The 6 News Nightcast starts now.
And we're going to get to those top stories in just a moment.
But first, some of you watching tonight are under a tornado watch list.
Now, 6 News, good morning, Indiana.
Well, unfortunately, more rain is on the way. Not now, but some showers later. We'll give you some projected rain amounts.
You're watching 6 News, Good Morning, Indiana, with Grace Trahan, Dan Spieler, Storm Team 6 meteorologist Paul Petit, and live drive traffic with Tom Davis.
Welcome back, everybody.
Now, from the team on your side, you're watching 6 News with Grace Trahan and Storm Team 6 meteorologist Paul Petit. This is 6 News at noon.
Thanks for joining us this last day of 2007. I'm Grace Trahan.
New first at 5, from fighting crime to fighting criminal charges. What a local youth minister is accused of doing.
Charges filed. The parents of the boy thought to be in a runaway balloon are pleading guilty.
Gearing up for winter, the 6 News watchdogs dig into the city's new plan to clear snow from the streets.
No snow, but a cooler start to the day this morning. Kevin's tracking some rain for the weekend. First at 5 starts now with charges against a youth minister known for his efforts to bring peace to the streets of Indianapolis.
6 News continues with Martha Weaver, Ray Cortopassi, Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory, live drive traffic with Stephanie Sobiar, and call 6 for help with Rafael Sanchez. This is 6 News, first at 5.
Well,
from the team on your side, this is 6 News, first at 5.
After 2.5 weeks of struggling to keep it a secret.
You're watching 6 News at 6.
And thanks for joining us. We're going to get to the top 6 in a moment, but first, 2 developing stories. First, the weather. Want to get right to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. Kev.
And from the team on your side, you're watching 6 News with Ray Cortopassi, Martha Weaver, Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory, live drive traffic with Stephanie Sobiar, and Dave First Sports. This is 6 News at 6.
And thanks for joining us. We begin with the big news out of Bloomington,
Indiana.
From the team on your side, this is 6 News at 6.
A fast-moving. New on the Nightcast, a major drug and gun bust is reminding police officers of a much-needed law after losing one of their own.
The true American death toll from the H1N1 flu is released, and the numbers may have you pushing to get that vaccine. A closer look at the Fort Hood massacre, why the military says it stopped investigating the alleged shooter months ago.
It's Veterans Day, but hundreds of our military men and women are homeless here in central Indiana. What's being done to help them?
And Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is back, why the former champ got busted at LAX.
Dozens of guns and more than 10 pounds of marijuana are found inside a home on the northwest side today.
From the team on your side, you're watching 6 News with Ray Cortopassi, Martha Weaver, Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory, and Dave First Sports. This is the 6 News Nightcast. From the team on your side, this is the 6 News Nightcast.
An 8-year veteran of the Carmel Police Force in trouble today.
Now, 6 News with 11 minutes of non-stop news.
Fake officer, the attack that has Metro Police searching for a man posing as a member of law enforcement.
From the team on your side, you're watching 6 News with Erica Bly, Storm Team 6 meteorologist Crystal Wecker, and Brad Brown Sports. This is 6 News Weekend.
Good evening, I'm
6 News continues with Todd Wallace, Tricia Shepard, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory, and Day First Sports.
And if you are just getting home, we have been following breaking news.
Live from the team on your side, breaking news from 6 News.
And hello, everyone. I'm Todd Wallace.
You're watching 6 News 24/7, Indiana's only 24-hour local news and weather network, featuring weather on the 6s from Storm Team 6. Now, the latest local news from across Indiana on 6 News 24/7.
I'm Todd Wallace. Here are the stories we're covering at 6 News and the IndyChannel.com.
Live from 6 News, continuing coverage of the Indiana primary.
And welcome back, everyone.
From the team on your side, this is 6 News Sports Extra.
Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Sports Extra, our first for the month of April.
Now in high definition, this is 6 News at noon.
Another grim day for already weary investors as Wall Street takes another early morning beating.
Now in high definition, this is 6 News First at 5. Now in high definition, this is the 6 News Nightcast. Now in high definition, this is 6 News Weekend.
Something to celebrate tonight.
6 News in HD continues with Grace Trahan, Dan Spieler, weather with Storm Team 6 meteorologist Paul Petit, and live drive traffic with Tom Davis.
Welcome back.
6 News in HD continues with Grace Trahan and weather with Storm Team 6 meteorologist Paul Petit. Six News in HD continues with Todd Wallace, Tricia Shepard, weather with Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kevin Gregory, and Day First Sports. 6 News in HD continues with Todd Wallace, Tricia Shepard, weather with Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kevin Gregory, and Day First Sports. Watching 6 News 24/7, Indiana's only 24-hour local news and weather network, featuring weather on the 6s from Storm Team 6. Now the latest local news from across Indiana on 6 News 24/7.
Here's what's making news at 6 News and the IndyChannel.com.
From the team on your side, this is 6 News coverage of Election Night 2008.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome as we continue our election night coverage here on RTV6.
Now in high definition, this is 6 News Sports Extra.
Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Sports Extra. I'm Dave First.
From the team on your side, this is a 6 News update.
Good morning, everyone. It's 7:56.
Good morning, Indiana. It is Monday, December 28th, and in the news this morning.
From the team on your side, this is 6 News at noon.
Good afternoon. We're following.
From the team on your side, this is 6 News First at 5.
A group of ministers wants the city's public safety director gone. Why? They're calling on the mayor to fire him immediately.
From the team on your side, this is 6 News at 5:30.
Well, authorities are calling it a crime of opportunity. As we first reported this.
From the team on your side, this is 6 News at 6.
Mayor Greg Ballard is speaking out about the investigation into a Metro police officer.
From the team on your side, this is 6 News at 7.
Now on Indiana's only 7 o'clock newscast.
From the team on your side, this is the 6 News Nightcast. You're watching RTV6. This is 6 News at 7.
Sugarland is back in Indy and less than an hour away from appearing on...
You're watching RTV6. Now, the news at 5.
And tonight at 5, we begin with breaking news and the shooting death of unarmed Florida teen.
You're watching Hometown Sports and News, Indiana's only 24-hour local sports and news channel, featuring live radar and your forecast from Storm Team 6. Now, with the latest headlines from across the state, this is a news update on HTSN.
6 News continues right now.
Live, what's happening right now from RTV6, The Indy Channel.
A local family in mourning. Now at 4:30, the investigation underway right now.
Live, what's happening right now from RTV6, The Indy Channel.
News out of Turkey. Authorities conducting raids of suspected ISIS hotspots.
Now, the news at noon on RTV6. Now, the news at 5 on RTV6. Now, the news at 6 on RTV6. Now, the news at 7 on RTV6.
And now at 7, when your child's health.
Now, the news at 11 on RTV6. Now, breaking news from RTV6.
Breaking news, an executive at Cook Medical in Bloomington and...
From RTV6, this is Sports Extra.
And here we go. Thanks for joining us tonight. I am Brad Brown. Hope you are keeping warm. Winter finally settling in here.
From RTV6, Indianapolis This Week.
Good morning, I'm Rafael Sanchez. More than 3 years later, justice for the victims of suspended IMPD officer David Bassard.
Now, with a closer look, this is the RTV6 Spotlight.
Hi, and thanks for joining us. I'm Laura Kirtley. This is RTV6 Spotlight.
From the station working for you, this is an RTV6 update.
I'm Lauren Casey, and these are your latest headlines from the RTV6 newsroom.
From the only station working for you, this is RTV6 Good Morning, Indiana.
Right now at 6 o'clock, the celebration is just getting started for the newest Indy 500 champion.
From the station working for you, this is RTV6 News at 5.
It makes me really disappointed because I did trust a lot of people at the school.
From the only station working for you, this is RTV6 News at 11.
Steal from kids before Christmas is just really pathetic.
First at 11, a family's Christmas now in jeopardy.
Live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and RTV6 Sports, this is Trackside 6.
At first, it's a Storm Team 6 alert day. Strong storms moving into the Indy metro area.
This is an RTV6 update, working for you.
Hello, I'm Meredith Barrick, and these are your latest headlines from the RTV6 newsroom.
This is Good Morning, Indiana, working for you.
Time now is 4:27 here on your Wednesday morning.
Is RTV6 News at noon, working for you.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us here on the news at noon.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Now at 5, new details emerging from that controversial 4th of July incident at Lake Monroe near Bloomington.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
I'm lucky that I made it. An Indiana man finally gets to go home after a fight with COVID-19.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Indiana's delayed primary is just 4 days away. But
this is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Good evening to you here at 11 o'clock.
This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Breaking news to begin this midday. The winningest coach in NFL history has died. Don Shula only had 2 losing seasons in the 34 years as head coach.
From the station working for you, this is an RTV6 special report.
And good evening to you at 11 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins bringing you the news from my home.
From the station working for you, this is a WRTV update.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Here are your latest headlines.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It is 6 o'clock on Tuesday, November 3rd. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. It is Election Day, and polls across the state are now officially open.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
And good afternoon to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Good evening to you.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5:30, streaming now.
And now at 5:30, solar panels could replace corn and soybeans in Shelby County fields.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Being able to have one less burden off of them.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
Tonight, a closer look at how Metro Police are using body cameras while patrolling the streets of Indianapolis.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Now at 11, the state's largest district is preparing to welcome students back to learning.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV Trackside, streaming now.
Well, this place can grab you when you least expect it.
On TV, online, on your phone, on air, 24/7. 6 News is on your side.